Hey, welcome to another rousing rendition of Outlawed Live with my buddy Mike Idle and myself, Ron Stone. How's everybody doing out there? Mike, how are you?
Doing awesome. Evidently, July 28th. Two big things to talk about on July 28th right here. Evidently, it's National Holganics Day, where all outlaw announcers are required to report to the podcast in their Holganics uniforms. So, in all seriousness, always
Ready
thank you to
for duty.
Holganics out there. Yeah, ready for inspection.
No.
I met several great Holganics representatives this weekend, and just always great to work with them and grow that brand. I met Todd. I believe his name was Matt, as well as Lauren, who's always been working with us. Not Todd Bowles, but a new Todd that's working with them. So they were able to do some interviews with us both Friday and Saturday. So thank you to Holganics. And July 28th also popped up on my Facebook today. 4 years ago to the day, I announced my first ever truck and tractor pull. So we are rocking and rolling. So life is good, Ron.
Does it seem like 4 years to you?
Not at all. It's crazy. And I mean, not even just in truck and tractor pulling, but in life and in family. But, things go by fast. And this summer's going by fast. This weekend went by fast. Have you really caught your breath and wrapped your mind around the fact we had 6 pulls in 3 days? We're going to have 8 pulls in 5 days. Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot's going on with the Outlaws. Let's talk about it, Ron.
Yeah, it's literally we're like carnies this time of year. Mm-hmm. We're setting up, doing our thing, tearing down and heading to the next town, the next fair, the next show. And literally after it's over, like Sunday night or Monday, you look back and think, good Lord, where did that week just go? It's insane. And that's how the summer goes at this pace. So,
and it's funny too, from a spectator or even a competition standpoint, things will start feeling like a long time for us. You have to remind yourself, well, that was just 3 days ago. And you could say, well, just 3 days ago, so-and-so was unbeatable in a class. And then 3 days later, you've got someone sitting back there with 3 victories in a row or 2 victories in a row, and your points can change so drastically. I mean, it's just like Major League Baseball or football. No lead is safe and nothing is not going to be touched. And, Thursday, that was forever ago at this point. We're pulling again tomorrow.
What a difference of just a second or two makes on the track. It changes the course of the entire season for a class. So, Alan Ulmer, he most likely done for the season. After catastrophic damage there. He thought that a planetary, the rear end went bad, and of course the engine over revved, and all kinds of carnage there. So too much probably to fix before the end of the season.
Same thing over on your side with the Petch family. I don't know if it was Kaysen or Kyle driving, but unfortunately, it looks like defending points champion is might going to be on the operating table. The tractor is going to be on the operating table for the remainder of the year. So like you said, it only takes a moment. I mean, we were talking in our leadership meeting this morning about our tech representative. What did you guys say? 7/64ths of a second can show you a spike in RPM or something like that.
No, 7/64ths of an inch was the difference between first and second in the pro stock class at Montgomery City. That's about the thickness of a grain of rice, just under 1/8 of an inch. Second and third in pro stock pickup was the same deal, same exact margin of distance between the two places. But Mike, did you have any good fair food over the weekend at Pierce or Wayne or Denison?
There were, actually I had a big old breakfast in Wayne. We had biscuits and gravy at the St. Teresa's tent, or I think it was St. Teresa's. It was St. something. I should have paid a little bit more attention.
No hot dogs?
There were no hot dogs to be found. No premier quality. Of course, they had steak and, phenomenal this and that and pulled pork. But what's a guy got to do to get a good old-fashioned hot dog,
Case Conover. You got to blame him for bringing it up. But Mean Green, says, love watching us live at the pools. Mark Willis watching from Carrollton, Missouri. Got to meet that family at Rock Valley. They sat right in front of us there. Mark.
Yeah, they had a wonderful time.
Ben Beller from Kansas checking in. Tina and Eric Berger from Wilbur, Wayne, was a great time. Hope next year the schedule allows for the mods and two-wheel drives. Well, it's funny that you asked, Tina, because it does. Tina or Eric, whoever sent that. But the schedule works out pretty good for Wayne, for Denison, for Montgomery City, and Warrensburg. They all kind of complement each other. So
that's great news. There's a couple of things I want to dissect this a little bit. I think Wayne really is one of those pulls that people put on their schedule. It's a great event, so we love seeing that develop. But we also love the growth that we're encountering right now. A first-year pull, or first year 19 years at Denison, and their immediate words were, hey, we know what we want to do for next year. So that's looking like that's going to build and be better next year. Montgomery City, it's not in Illinois, but it's right on the edge of Illinois. And I know we've been there before. But Ron, you can kind of speak to the story. We heard that track might be the single biggest narrative of the whole weekend, that track has really surprised a lot of pullers in the best imaginable way possible. So we look forward to taking Wayne back to some of these big time classes, but continuing to explore with some of these developing or easterly pulls as well. Tell them what you saw trackside in Montgomery City and just how well that thing came together.
Well, kudos to the crew there at the Montgomery County Fair. Kudos to everyone involved there. They brought that dirt in before the pull last year, though we didn't get an opportunity to pull on it because it was too soft. It was a mud hole, basically. But Richard Morris went over there. We know Richard Morris has been an understudy of Kevin Bauer the last several years, and he is becoming one of the great track builders out there, Mike. He made Lufkin's track amazing last year in October. Montgomery City, I mean, when they got done, and Richard, he credits the crew there. He said, they did everything I asked them to do. He said, Tony gave me a crew of guys with equipment, and they did everything I told them to do. And I'm telling you, at 5 till, when I was standing on the stage, just where you announced from Montgomery City, looking out, I thought, if this track is as good as it is pretty, we're going to have us a good pull here. And they had the boat loaded for every class that night, 74 mods. They had 7 or 8 bricks in the box and 2 on the pan. Lots of traction, lots of bite. It was a good show. So that's a 180. That track has nothing bad about the Montgomery City folks, but the track has traditionally not been a good track, and it's got that reputation. This is going to turn it around. It was amazing.
Yeah, and I think that's important that pullers as well as fans or anybody hear that. And I don't think there's any such thing as bad tracks. I think of them as challenging or unique or tricky. I'm not a driver. A driver would rephrase that differently. But, you think of them like Pocono and NASCAR, or you think of like Martinsville or something like that, a challenge. But drivers, if you're listening, and this isn't just us, overselling, it was the story I heard from everyone that Montgomery City has really created an amazing power track. So if you're kind of curious, I would encourage you next year to keep that thing rocking and rolling, because we're still believers, Ron, that traveling to the east is a resource that's going to be very well tapped with the Outlaws. The two-wheel drive truck class that you guys had in Waterloo, I mean, I was just looking at that thing on the app. It's been a while since I've seen that much diversity from so many different people, so many heavy hitters. You had Simon Says, you had Cornburner, you had Gunsmoke. I mean, you had all our big hitters, and then people from Wisconsin and Iowa and other big hitters. Was that as fun to watch as it looked like it was developing on the app?
It absolutely was. And the fact that, strangely enough, the track got better, I think, towards the end of the class, in the two-wheel drive class. You don't always see that. But it happened. Of course, one of our own, Cole Zychek, comes out with Pop's truck and rips one out there, and nobody can touch him. So congratulations to him. There was added money for that class, for every class at Waterloo, on top of what Outlaw paid. In all, Cole made $5,000 for winning that class that night. And
Cole has a knack for rising to the occasion when the competition around him pushes him to that level. When he gets around the other big dogs, that's a great time where he likes to remind the world that Texas owns two-wheel drive, and Outlaw is synonymous with two-wheel drive. Farley, Iowa, last year at the big 50,000 to win, he went out there and qualified with a second-place finish. Might have won on Friday night. So that does not surprise me that he performs well under the brightest of lights.
Yeah, that I gave credit to his pit crews Saturday night. He had the youngest pit crew there. He had all the kids with him. I think there wasn't a pit crew member over 10 or 11 years old, I don't think, Mike. So he had.
We were joking with Corey Schluter. I would argue that his kids as well are getting awful, customary to getting their pictures taken in the winner's circle. I remember he had the kiddos helping him out at Rock Valley. He won at that, and then again on Wayne. On Friday night, Corey Schluter had his kiddos. So we might have these new future pit crew or future drivers kind of getting a taste of victory lane quite a bit. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I love it when we get the new drivers in there. Where was it? We just had a 17-year-old driver get in the seat. I'll think about that for a minute. There was a lot of pulling the last month or so. To answer Tina and Eric's question here about next year, tentatively, July 16th is Montgomery City. July 17th is Warrensburg. July 23rd is Wayne. July 24th would be Denison. July 31st is McLouth. Rock Valley, of course, is the 8th, 9th, 10th of July. And potentially another pull during their fair, potentially Rushville, Illinois, the 1st and 2nd. That's just July next year. So that calendar is already filling up pretty quick for 2027. And it looks like so far all those conflicts are going to work out, at least in July at this point. So to answer that question.
Yeah.
Andrew Sprock, want to send a congratulations out to him for winning the two-wheel drive class in the region. I'm calling it the Gateway Series over there, Mike, because it's all kind of centered around.
There we go. I know we've been brainstorming all year long. There's your golden ticket. That's exactly the one we've been looking for.
The Gateway Series, it seems like every one of those pulls to go to another, you kind of have to go through St. Louis or somewhere close to St. Louis. So I know we went to Taylorville, and to go back to Montgomery City, you go through St. Louis. To go to Waterloo on Saturday, you go through St. Louis. So, why not the Gateway Series? But Andrew Sprock wins that series in the two-wheel drive class. I might as well pull up that app and give all those winners out here, all those results in that series. Had one win with the truck and one win with the Sprock Farms truck before it met its untimely demise at Warrensburg. So regional two-wheel drive, Andrew Sprock wins. Cameron Pascal with 3 hooks this week, just 3 hooks out of the 5. And of course, Fitzsimmons family, they decided not to come out and pull it all weekend. So Cameron Pascal was able to pass him up this weekend and take 2nd in the series. Robert the Gunsmoke, the Zycheks took 3rd. The Sprock Farms truck took 4th. And Richard Morris takes 5th. And Richard Morris, he gets a win in Montgomery City, walk-off win. Andrew Sprock mentions there. He built the track, and he comes out at the end of the class and blows past everybody. So congratulations to him. The modified tractors in that Gateway Series here. My
guess is going to be Sweet Pain. They had some big finishes. I'm not pulling it up. I got my phone over here. I'm going to leave this live, but I think
Wayne Bunnage.
Okay.
By 1 point over Steve Hood and Russell Phipps. Hush Money, Sweet Pain in 3rd. 5 points out of the top spot.
There you go.
They had a bad hook on Thursday in Taylorville. Track there, and they found the soft spot out there.
Yep.
The Petches took 4th with Thermal Thunder. Of course, their season cut short Saturday at Montgomery City. He was on a pass, probably the fastest pass in the mod class. He might have got him a win, but the gears that he just put in this season, because the old gears he was running were not legal, considered not safe, that had been in there forever. Had to take those out, put the new gears in, and trash the crossbox on Friday night. So Cotton Candy Cameron Neves got 5th in the points there for the regional series. So congratulations to all those points winners. Marty Samuelson checking in from Ravenna, the de facto mayor of Ravenna, Nebraska. Mike, he's got a message for you there.
This is, it is funny. And it was, promoters were actually coming to me and saying, you guys, being you and myself, Ron, they said you went back and forth so much about who was going to be where that, One minute we thought we had the anthem covered. The next minute we didn't. 1 minute we thought we had this. So they said, you know what? You all can figure it out. So yeah, no singing for Mike this weekend, but I found some volunteers here and there and we got through it. But yeah, I'd never thought about that. But when you do book Ron Stone, you have an automatic national anthem singer along with you. So yeah, my resume is always going to be just a little bit shy because I don't have that talent.
We'll record it and you can lip sync it.
People have honestly and in no joke said that. They said, well, hasn't Ron, not lip syncing, but they said, well, surely Ron's got a recorded version he lets you use. They said, we want to hear Ron, just push play. I said, we've never actually recorded it. So,
I recorded it. Sheesh. Back in 2000, I think I recorded it. The band I was in, we were doing a CD. We did a 10-song CD.
Yeah.
Back when CDs used to sell. Back in 2000.
Or exist.
And in the studio, I paid for a little bit of time to record the national anthem, a cappella national anthem, because at that time you could send that in to the Chiefs and the Royals. Yeah. And they may pick you out to do the anthem. Granted, I never sent it to them, but I did have it. But to this day, I have no idea where that ended up. So, nor how good it was at the time, honestly, but it's out there somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we need it.
Chris Pierce said, nice to meet you, Mike and Wayne.
Yep, you as well. Yep, that was great. We'll meet up some other time and talk pulling a little deeper, a little more.
Mean Green, when is the pull in Diagonal, Iowa?
The 6th, September 6th.
There's pretty something kind of important in your life coming up that weekend.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to announce that pull, and there's only one thing that would stand between me and announcing a pull or attending an Outlaw pull, and that would be the birth of my third child. So yeah, I'm going to stay around home for that one. But yeah, Diagonal is September 6th. Yeah, so we are getting close to go time. So I went back and forth on that one all year. I want to be there. I want to watch it, but we got a kid coming and family's pretty important.
Absolutely. Bedford is Saturday the 5th. Diagonal's Saturday the 6th or Sunday the 6th. I'm sorry. Bedford is Saturday the 5th. Diagonal is Sunday the 6th. And Huron, South Dakota, the South Dakota State Fair is Monday, September 7th.
A Saturday, Sunday, Monday sweep. Not typical, but it should be cool nonetheless.
That time of year, you start getting into football season. Friday nights are kind of tricky. Can be. So.
Yeah, true.
Catching any rains, dry and hot in Niobrara, Nebraska. Yeah, it rained here this morning, but this afternoon the sun never came out, but it's still got a little muggy. The weekend was, wow, in Waterloo, it was unbearable Saturday. It was a 3-shirt day for me that day working outside.
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
Go back in the RV, take a 5-minute break, change your shirt. Yep. Go back out. A couple hours later, go back in, change your shirt.
I made it to the old outlawpulling.tv shirts because I had run out of tech shirts. That's where I had been over this weekend sweep. So I know exactly what you mean, but hey, it's summertime. It's pulling. Yep. We're fine with it.
Even the Texas guys that were in Illinois and Montgomery City this weekend were saying it's not that humid down where we're at. Cameron said it's dry and hot.
Yeah, Preston said the same thing, and Denison.
Coolendall, some bounce going on over at
mm-hmm. Yeah, we saw light limited pros pretending to be light super stocks. Actually, the light supers and light limited pros were hooking at the exact same time. And we had about 4 tractors in a row on each class, 2 over here and 2 over here, where at about 250, they were getting kind of a wave, kind of a washboard in the track, and their tire pressure had fooled them and they were off. And we saw the wildest rides that LLPs have ever demonstrated. Saw some really, squirrely rides with the light supers this weekend. But yeah, Wayne, right at about 45 minutes to the close of the show at about 240 feet on both tracks, things got quirky for a little bit.
Just one question, though. I mean, do you feel like Kevin Davis missed me? I mean, do you feel like he
in his own
a little bit
in his own special way, he absolutely missed you. So yeah, no doubt about it. I missed you being there. And I said this behind the screen. I'll say this out in public. the amount of work. So this weekend, I kind of took on some roles that I didn't typically take on. Just the minute I think I know what producing pulling looks like, and then you'll learn a little bit more. The amount of work that Ron Stone, Kyle Petch, Kurt Van Beeks, the people behind the scene put into this, it's phenomenal. I 100% Ron, I missed you. And I was telling my dad, I said, I don't know how he does it. I need Ron's help, but we made it happen. It's just, you do a lot of work. So
you made it through. You know, every pull is unique in its own way. Every one of them has their own challenges in every way possible. So we make it through the summer, and it can be a long, grueling one, but
it's fun. It's never not fun. It's, I think people get this idea in their head that, oh, you go to a tractor pull, you announce pulling. How fun is that? You sit back and you take pictures and you drink lemonade with the pullers. And, there's just so much more behind the scenes than I think what people realize.
What puller is serving lemonade in the pits?
Surely someone's got lemonade somewhere.
Ben Beller, a guy from Kansas, Howard, Kansas, pulling fan, is looking forward to Mound City, the Lynn County Fair on Sunday night. That one starts at 7 p.m. Marty Samish was talking about duets, Mike. They're going to get you to singing before this is all said and done.
I will promise you this, and it's closer to happening than you think. I will drive a pulling tractor down the track before I sing a national anthem.
Uh-oh.
Who's offering you that?
Who's offering?
It's out there a little bit, but Greg Rasted has said he's going to give me the keys to the ride next time. He goes, next time you're at a smaller pull where you're not announcing. Sounds a little bit like Neligh this Sunday. He said, let's put, he swore up and down he's going to let me do it at Wayne. And Kurt even said, he goes, I'll announce if you want to go drive. And I said, there's too much going on at this show. This is too big of a show. I'm not going to do that. But I'm not saying I will or I won't, but I will say this. I will drive a pulling tractor before I sing the national anthem.
Well, I think you should have done it just so we could have heard Kurt on the microphone.
That was what it's interesting to know which one of those would have been a dicier situation.
That would have been funny in itself. Your announcing mate there on Friday night there, Dale Bartell's checking in. Andrew Sprock, congratulations to all regional point winners. Congratulations, Andrew Sprock. He's had a pretty grueling schedule. He's run all those regionals and running the national. That's hard on equipment. That's hard on the body. I mean, that makes you realize how old you really are. Alan Wickline, good job at doing. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, awesome. We've got a couple of guests here.
Yeah.
They've been waiting in the wings. I gave Toby Vanderpool extra time and makeup because these cameras are kind of expensive. We don't want to break any computers and cameras out there.
I thought it was extra time to polish all those trophies. See, when you walk away with 3 trophies in 3 nights, where are they at? I figured you were back there getting them all ready to go.
Look at he got the memo too. Look, he's got the whole Organics going on.
It's I tell you what, if Todd Bowles isn't watching, tune in right now. Jamie Lane, all of them, Dave. Hey, Toby, I've been calling it the hat trick, man. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 3 hooks, 3 nights, 3 wins. Have you ever pulled off something like that before?
Oh no, that's first time.
Hey, Mike, he's
pretty exciting.
Behind him. That's where all the trophies are in the safe.
Yeah, they're locked up. They're under lock and key, and that's all his big winnings from the weekend. You had to go get a bigger safe. But have you ever had back-to-back victories, or have you ever had? What's the closest you've ever come to having a weekend like this?
Wisner last year got the lock. Yep, that was a big one for me.
Yep. So the most interesting thing about this, where I kind of want to jumpstart, I went and talked to Gary on Thursday night and asked him the same question that everyone asks the sled operator: how far are they going? And Gary, he was, adamant. He was hard and fast. He came forward and he said, nobody's going past 325 tonight. He says, I am locking these guys down. I got to practice for some shorter tracks. And he says, just right now, guarantee it, nobody's going farther than 325. First truck comes out in your class goes out there like 368 or 372 or something like that.
Right.
He throws his hands up and says, leave it. I was shocked. He said, leave it. you knew it was going to have to be a huge distance. You won the field at 399.
Yep.
Wow. I mean, you have time to almost sort through your thoughts when you're pulling that long. What's it like to pull 399 feet? I mean, just tell us about that.
Well, as the pull went on, I mean, let's go back to Gary's sled. I went up there and talked to him for a little bit about the sled setup and what the track looked like. And I was out there probing the track, and the Pro Stock tractors were tearing that track up down there at the end. And what's kind of funny about the tractor guys is they all drive right to the same spot and stop at the same spot, it seems like, where us Pro Stock guys are kind of annoying, and we probe the track really, really hard and try to find the good spots. So our first driver, educated, went over to the left and drove down the chalk and put on a heck of a hook. Later in the class, I had to go out and get ready, and I remember Show Me Chevy Chrysler got a hell of a run going, and I heard RPM I hadn't heard in a long, long time. All I could think to myself was, we're going to have to dig deep, and we're going to have to run really good to get that pass. So I guess you could say when I got up there, I was able to do it. I knew the pass was going to be a good one within just a few seconds of getting going. It lit up live. It was an easy pull for me. That the truck worked really easy. Now, those next 2 nights that we pulled this last weekend, those tracks pulled hard. I mean, that's all the truck could do was to pull that sled, where that first track, that 399, it was just an easy hook. Just grabbed that sled and took off.
Now, is that a difference in sled setting? Kind of dive deeper for the fan. You know, we can get what you're talking about. You hear the RPM difference, you know, between those two, and you can kind of see just, you know, how smooth the run is. But what do you equate to that? You said the way that feels in the driver's seat. What's the difference between an easy 399 versus a tough, you know, 320 that we saw in Denison?
Was it Pearson between those two? Help me out. Right?
Pierce was Thursday. Pierce was your mega pass at 399.
Pierce was the mega pass. So it was, what was the next one?
And then Wayne was in the middle.
Wayne was the one where I think I only turned like 8,400 RPM. It just worked the heck out of that engine. So if you go out there and you kick your toe on the dirt, it's sticky. I mean, you don't always want to talk about what the tires are doing at the track. It's how hard that sled's going to hit the dirt on the track. And when that sled hits that dirt, at that second hook at Wayne, it just grabs, and it you know, we only wear a lap belt in the Pro Stock trucks, and it just about pushes you through the steering wheel when that sled starts dropping. And it was a way different feeling. It still felt good at Wayne. It was a great track. It was good people. Every hook this week was great people, good tracks. Everything just went well, and for our team, it went really well this weekend. I couldn't be any happier. I was quite surprised with how everything worked out for us. Very happy.
Man, you had to be, I mean, on cloud 9 Thursday night after Pierce. And then did you have, in your wildest dreams, could you think you'd get 2 in a row, then let alone get 3? That's crazy.
Yep, it was. It's a little bit crazy, especially for me. I've been consistent, but there's always been a guy ahead of me there the past few years that just a little bit more consistent than the rest of us in the class. If you take bipolar away, I'm usually not too far behind. And
right,
this last weekend was just really good. So
now on Saturday, an added wrinkle to the story. I got to know if you went and had a little fun with Brad Skolout. Ron, I don't know if you knew this information. Saturday night was Brad Skolout's birthday. And with about 2 or 3 trucks to go, Brad takes over the number 1 spot. Toby, were you the final hook? Was it a walk-off win? Or was there one after you?
There was one after. It was Alan with Wild Thing, and he had some issues and stuff going on, so he had to take off and go home. So I ended up being the last hook. Yep.
So Brad, with 1 or 2 to go on his birthday, pulls into the number 1 spot. And then final hook of the night, I announced it as you blew out the candles on his cake. So did you have a little fun with Brad later on about, stealing his birthday present?
Our Pro Stock class is a pretty tight group, and they were getting together to sing happy birthday. And I was underneath the truck inside the trailer, tying everything down. And before I got out from underneath the truck to go down to wish him happy birthday, him and his daughter Sam met me at the door and celebrating happy birthday and wished me congratulations. Then I took his birthday money from him, and it was a good time.
That's not right.
I felt bad, but yet it felt pretty good.
Sure, yeah.
That's a great family you're talking about there, the Skolouts.
They're a wonderful pair, and I tell you what, Brad and Sam herself, Brad's getting really close to that winner's circle, but yes. Sam's getting where she's no slouch either. I'm really watching what she's been doing here the past week or two, and she's putting together some good A to B passes consistently in the top 10 or even top 5.
Yes,
watch out, because she's making it tough on you guys.
Yep, they are. Yep. Got a good operation.
Yeah.
Yeah, you the point standings right now, you and Show Me Chevy, Phil Chrysler, are neck and neck. Phil's got a 1-point advantage on you in the north. Now, it's kind of strange how this has shook out here. We knew the pullers would try to run both, the north and the south, but it's strange to see someone from the south leading the north. And, you got north guys, Cleveland comes down and he's running the south and doing well down here. It's just kind of funny how this is shook out. But man, your second point's 1 point behind the leader coming off a 3-win weekend, a perfect weekend. This is going to be an interesting second half of the season here.
Yeah, I've moved up a lot of spots here in the last few hooks, so that really helped. Just that last night, I moved me up 10 points. And Show Me had a bad night. I think he lost a cylinder there towards the end of the track or halfway down the track, whatever it was. And so he still had a good hook for having 7 cylinders.
Broke a push rod, he said.
Ooh, okay.
So it literally snapped it off clean, like right in the middle of the push rod. Very strange. Even the engine builder said that's on me. But so you had some problems yourself, right?
I had a little something going on, but I think we're going to be back up and running. This is an easy fix. So, yep.
Okay, I heard it might have been a little more serious than that, but
I did too.
Well, I guess I thought it was. I was pretty worried. And got it home and lifted the body up, and we're okay. So
good.
It's
good.
Pretty easy to work on with the tilt body.
I want to go back to the North and South division. This is something I found myself discussing a lot by the end of the weekend after watching you guys 3 nights ago and watch that shake up and doing a deeper dive into it. When we released the schedule of here's a Northern division and here's a Southern division, did you say to yourself, well, okay, I'm going to try to kind of chase points in one. I'm a Northern guy. I'm going to go for the North. Or did you say ahead of time, I'll wait and see how I'm doing in each spot? Because I think we all thought the Northern guys will play in the North sandbox. The Southern guys will play in the Southern clay, and that'll just be it. But like, Ron said, we've got Phil Chrysler coming up to the North. You've got Chuck Cleveland going down to the South. Did you have a strategy going in? Were you going to stick in the North, or were you going to wait and see where you found yourself in points in either race?
I'm more of a guy where I wait to see how everything turns out. I didn't have any luck in Colbert at all, including my tow hauler breaking down 20 miles outside the track, and Lacey Weaver and his family stepping up with. It's pretty crazy that a family's got the exact same hauler I got. I've got a black GMC dually, and they show up with a Chevy black dually, and they pulled my trailer into Colbert for me and took care of me, and I was able to get the truck working. But long story short, I just got my dually back today. It's been broke down for a month. We're back going, but back on that, I had kind of a tough start in the year. It takes a little bit, I think, every year to just learn. I mean, the rock, for instance, the sled, they've changed and updated some things. It takes a little bit to get used to those changes. The trucks change every year because camshaft and tidbits and whatnot's going on, and trying little changes here and there. And now the season, like every driver is like what I'm saying, you're starting to get used to your towing rig, or excuse me, your pulling rig, and you're getting things dialed in right now. I mean, Ron said it. I mean, we've been camping for 3 days in a row, and I think this week will probably be 4 days. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's busy season.
Yeah, it sure is. Yeah.
This is the time of year, if you're doing well, you might not want to make very many changes.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is kind of an Ironman weekend this weekend, 4 of them in a row here. So yeah, it's I'm just looking at the Holganic sweep point. I was trying to pull up some video, but the site's not cooperating with me. But you're fifth in Pro Stock 4x4 points right now too. Not sure if you knew that. These are just updated today.
Okay.
The date on that, by the way, if you're looking at the website, if you go to outlawpulling.com and go to the standings and results, pull up, click on the drop down Holganic sweep. It says updated 7/21. These were actually updated this afternoon. Kyle did it, but the only thing he didn't update was the updated date on it. So it actually was updated today, the 28th. So yeah, you are 158 points down in fifth, 182 miles jumps, noise complaints leading that right now. But
okay,
you are 1 point out of first in the North region. So it's going to be fun to watch you and Phil Kreiser duke it out here.
Yep. There's going to be some others in there too, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, let's looking at that. Congratulations to Chuck Cleveland over the weekend, by the way, in Montgomery City. Got him his first win there. Congratulations to him.
Chuck and I are really close. I think you guys know that. We're traveling buddies and stay right together, help each other out. We're teammates with the RCE team as well as many other guys. We've got a pretty large group going on now with Team RCE, and it was hard for Chuck to go to the south and me to go to the north, so we bounce ideas off of each other all the time and help each other support loading and unloading, and a lot of the hooks we go by ourselves. And
RCE's got to be pretty happy with the weekend.
Yes.
Got
all season we've been doing pretty good. Yep. There's one person I got to talk about. Old Dallas, Marty and Loretta Selman's grandson. He's always been there riding the 4-wheeler and helping me around. And I'm sure you guys have seen that. And he is great kid.
So.
Yeah. People don't realize the Outlaw family, it's a real deal. I mean, everybody helps everybody out.
Yeah.
So Chuck was gone this weekend. I had many other people that are my competitors helping me because I was out there all by myself all three days, and everyone seems to help me. So
were they still helping you in Denison after you beat them on?
There might have been a little cold shoulder going on here and there when they could, but we're all friends on before and after. But on the track, we all come to win. So.
Yeah. Look at the top 5 in that North region. Of course, Philip Kreiser winning with 2:14. Toby Year in second with 2:13. Miles not far behind at 2:02 with noise complaint. Brad Skoll out. We just talking about he's at 197. Dave Walters, Tater Wagon, he's back at 189. So, still a lot of pulling left to do. Everybody still. That could be shuffled pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Weekend of pulling.
One weekend could change things.
Yep. So, got to be on your toes in this Pro Stock 4x4 class. Toby, anybody you want to thank for your success out here this weekend, especially, man? I mean, awesome weekend for you.
Ron Hutchison, back home friend of mine. Chuck Cleveland, of course. My mom and dad. Roller Competition Engines. Keith and Jamie Hammonds and the girls. Marty and Loretta Selman in Dallas. They're always checking on me and supporting me. Vanderpool Construction, our excavation company, helps me through this sport. I'm sure there's others. I'd like to just thank the Outlaws and everyone that it's a huge family too. Everyone from working the track to doing the setup to doing the traveling to the people at the fairs that. I mean, I've helped a lot at our local Warren County Fair, and it takes a lot of time and effort to put on these things. Sometimes people don't understand it, but then you talk about like Kevin and Richard doing the track. Those guys. Yeah. I'm a dirt guy, and I love watching those guys run the plates. I'm out there, trying to give them some advice, and I'm just messing with them. I think they know that I know what I'm talking about when I'm looking at the track, but. Our tracks, almost every track we've ever been to this year has been a really good track. Some of them might be a little harder to read, try and decide if you're going to make some changes or not. But that's what makes it fun and interesting if you can make the right choices.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, Toby, thanks for coming on tonight, man. I know it was kind of a short notice, and Did you have to get your son to help you out?
Yes, my youngest son, Brooke, that's 6'5", had to come in here and help me get all squared away. But we're good now.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming on. Good luck the rest of the season, man. Congratulations on your weekend.
Yep. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Toby. Toby Vanderpool, Indianola, Iowa. Rockets up into the number 2 spot, 1 point out of the top spot after a perfect weekend for him. Matt Michaels at the hat trick, 3 out of 3 wins. That's tough to do. I know we saw Hammonds do it on a regular basis.
Yeah, I got to thinking about it. Some pullers that we saw last year. We saw Jeremy Paulson go on a streak. You know, streaks are fun to follow, but Jeremy Paulson rattled off, I think it was 8 in a row in the second half of the season last year in the light superstock ag. We saw David Peterson, like father, like son in the Superfield class, actually, I think won like 4 in a row to close out the season and grab the number 1 position. So streaks do happen, but it's not like football or baseball where you're just beating one other opponent. I mean, streaks and pulling are rare and a big deal. And to have a perfect weekend, a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, that's something worth noting. Here's what I'm curious about. So looking at his upcoming week, he has a northern hook in Scribner.
Yep.
But then the northern guys are off for the next couple of days. His buddy Cleveland, who is hammering points in the south, is going to be in McLouth and Mound City. Do we anticipate a lot of these northern guys to come down and pull in the southern division? I think we do. I think we'll see a lot of these northern guys come down and compete in the southern as well.
I think when you have a pull as big as McLouth, Kansas, I mean, that draws guys in from the north, and it's not too far south. And then once they're here, you might as well go on down to Mound City.
Exactly.
Run on Sunday. So, but it's interesting to see and how we're going to see later in the season the strategy in these.
Yeah.
There's one more conflicting pull coming up in August, and that's Coffeyville Gibbon, to see who goes where on that weekend, because these guys get 3 drops in each division, and we did that because there are 3 conflicts. So are you dropping 3 zeros, or are you going to go up here when you went down there for the other 2 and drop 2 in your lowest score, and down here you're dropping 1 in your 2 lowest scores? Who knows? A little bit of strategy might get become involved.
Yeah, and I always I get the idea of dropping a 0, and I've heard some drivers talk about how they'll actually build a season around where they will and won't go. But to remind the fans that is a risky gamble, because to drop a 0, you're almost telling yourself, well, I have to guarantee a top 3 finish. You know, what happens if you go out of bounds, or you throw a rod, or you do something crazy and suddenly you get a 12th place finish? Well, if you were dropping 0s, you don't get to drop that, and you're stuck with a poor finish. So there's a lot to think about. And how many of them are still thinking, I'm still going to try to win too? I haven't looked at the standings. It does seem like they've kind of landed on their allegiances where they're going to go. And it is just unique to see how many southern people went up north and how many northern people. They're going to be high-fiving each other, meeting on the highway going in opposite directions for some of these pulls.
Yeah, Andrew Sprock says McLouth deserves it. I agree. I think McLouth could most certainly support the 2-day hook. I agree with that. And here, Chris Pierce brought it up here. That's the youngster that I was talking about. Yeah. Jumped in the seat over the weekend. The youngest Haug, I guess he's
Trace
17. Trace Haug, I guess.
Trace Haug. So we talked to Dale on Thursday in Pierce, and he said this is kind of the final test hook. We've been watching that machine over the past 2 years. They've been leaning it out, getting the weight right. And Dale said, if we are finally satisfied with it tonight and we've got it where we want it, we're going to put Trace in the seat tomorrow at Wayne. And they had a good run in it Thursday night. And then, each of the next 2 nights, Trace was in it. Fought getting up on top of the turbo, coming out of the hole shot, but he took his option hook both times and was up on top of it, excellently. That's going to be fun to watch, both that tractor with its unique concept and that driver kind of come into their own together. And another one who is getting that light modified figured out all of a sudden, Wayne Longnecker is saying, guys, don't forget about me. It was only a matter of time before I got this one dialed in.
Yeah, and another one to watch in that light modified class is Mr. Meyer at Hooper, Nebraska. He's getting that T55. The line got a 2nd place at Wayne there. Good hook for him. Garrett Geiger taking first there. Sending the the Ott Boys South in the standings there at Wayne. Hometown Hook for them 5th and 7th out of 10 tractors there at their hometown Hook.
And then Meyer actually let his youngest son, Ethan, he turned the keys over to both his boys, but he let Ethan Meyer do a test hook with it on Saturday night in Denison, where Kevin opted not to change for the sake of keeping the show moving, hooked after the Superstar, the limited pro stock diesel trucks. So left an extra brick in there, with it being a little heavier with that class. Yeah. Ethan pulled the sled 285 feet on his first ever exhibition pass with an extra weight in the sled. So I kind of thought, hold on, we might have another one waiting in the wings here.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love seeing the kids get involved. Kind of rekindles the interest of, like a Cody Meyer, it did in Kyle Petch and that family. Kind of rekindled their love of the sport when Kaysen's, I want to drive the tractor. You saw Grandpa Fred get back in there, and there was renewed vigor for that whole team as Kaysen wanted to drive. And now their daughter wants to drive. Kenley wants to drive too. So she's chomping at the bit to get behind the wheel of a tractor. So Lauren Boyson took a shot in Wayne, I guess.
Yep. Actually, and that was Ryan got called away to an emergency circumstances, was not able to be with us in Wayne. And I think it was one of those, I didn't get the full story, but I think Lauren basically said, hey, Dad, I'm here. I've got my fire suit. I'll make sure that the tractor stays in contention. It's a whole new bear this year. He redid his clutch on that one. He said it's totally different to drive. You kind of have to double clutch it, bring the turbo up, let it out, give it a second snort, bring it back up, then let the clutch out a second time. Lauren is still, she hasn't figured out that whole shot just yet, but that I don't think that's a reflection of her so much as Ryan saying this is a whole new tricky beast this year. So
nerves and
So
Mark Jaham stoked to come to McLouth and take pictures this week. I know last year McLouth just wall-to-wall people, elbow to elbow on both sides in the grandstands. So, as long as the weather cooperates, we're expecting no different. Liam Lumberg saying, hi, Trooper Mikey. Story there, Mike? No?
Yeah, so the mustache, I came on the podcast with a mustache for a little bit about a year and a half ago on the Let's Grow Pulling podcast, and he took to calling me Super Trooper. It was that's going to be one of those. It's kind of like the the Banner brothers when they sat on the side of the pulling machine, the Mike Idle broadcasting with a mustache days. That's going to be one that's stuck in the archives. So
we're talking about McLouth. Let's bring on the promoter from McLouth, Dustin Wooten, on the show. Dustin, how's it going, buddy? Are you guys ready for this?
We are getting there. It's been about a day and a half of washing bleachers, so it's been same as you guys, about a 3 or 4 shirt day change, right? With the humidity we've had here the past 5 days, so we're getting there.
Now, I talked to you after all the success of the event last year. I think, if I'm not mistaken, you said it was a record-setting event for a crowd there last year.
That was the biggest crowd we had ever had, and if we track social media pretty hard, and if that's any indication, this year is going to be quite a bit bigger.
Awesome.
That's wonderful.
That's awesome. Where are they going to sit, Dustin? I mean, if you guys have a lot of seats there, they're pretty packed.
They're going to have to pack in there like sardines, and I'm sure they will.
Yeah, it was an awesome event. The crowd, Mike, the crowd was one of those crowds you just love to announce to because they're so responsive and so into the event that it didn't take much prodding to get them on their feet and get them making noise. I mean, they were there to have a good time. Well,
this is a region in an area that I kind of had heard that the rumor was they were starving for national level pulling, specifically outlaw pulling, and they kind of were saying, we want this, please let us have this. And then it worked out for the Outlaws to come and partner with them last year and going into this year. And it seems like you said, they were living up to that bill. They were starving for national level pulling. We came in there and showed them what we could do. Feels like one of those matches made in heaven. This feels like one of those pulls that as we continue to stay with it on both sides, people are talking 2-day, people are talking premier level. I think the sky's the limit for what we have lined out with this one, just based on how much the crowd, wants this awesome product that these pullers are putting on.
Yeah, for sure. Unfortunately for the fans, it's pretty sparse in this part of the country, but fortunate for us, they travel to us for the pull. So we're pretty lucky in that retrospect. Actually, was talking with Zach Jasper at Warrensburg, congratulating them after taking 1, 2, and 3, and he said they brought 50 T-shirts last year to McLouth and sold every single one of them. So
really,
yep. So fans before and after the pull visited with the pullers. I think they all really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know. Yeah, we made our way around the pit area after last year and didn't get to hang out with but a fraction of the people that we said we wanted to hang out with, and the Jaspers were one. He said, "Come by and have a beer." I said, "Okay, in a little bit." And by the time we got back through there, they'd already went to bed. So, but yeah, that place was packed. I mean, are there any changes this year? Have you made any changes, or if it ain't broke, don't fix it?
We haven't. There's not going to be too many changes. It, like you just said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So it would be pretty similar to last year.
So now you've seen some of the comments here, and I talked to you about it last year. What are the chances of making this a 2-day event? I mean, the pullers even love it so much. The pullers come up. This needs to be a 2-day event. This needs to be Friday, Saturday. What are the chances?
I won't. I am optimistic that it will happen. Can't guarantee it. I think with Organics coming on board this year, we have the opportunity to have 4 of those classes in the sweep, and we've had pretty dang good success with hosting some Organics meetings earlier this spring and had some good participation. So that'll sure help. It always comes down to volunteers. We're a volunteer organization, so
yeah,
it takes a lot of people to put on a 1 day. It takes a lot more people to commit 2 days. So if we can find the volunteers, then we might be able to make her happen.
I kudos to those people, man. I'll thank them on Saturday night too, because that's a lot of work. That is a lot of freaking work to put on a tractor pull. Fans, I love them. They have no idea how much work goes into one of these events. I mean, before, during, and after. The work doesn't stop at the end of the pull. Everybody don't clock out and go home. There's still a lot more work to do that night and Sunday and Monday and Tuesday, and people are still hauling stuff home all through the week and getting stuff out of there to clean it up. But what is the group called there that you have that puts on the event?
So it'd be the McLouth Threshing Bee Association. Yeah. Yep. So we were founded in the 60s. I think this is our 61st year as a membership. It started, as the name would indicate, threshing wheat. A couple local farmers got together and actually bought the piece of land where the grounds are and started threshing wheat there with steam engines. And we still do that today in September. And this is just one of our other events we offer, which has grown to become our largest event by far. So,
yeah, it was awesome last year. It was absolutely awesome. And you guys even have the threshing bee, you have this tractor pull, you even have a haunted house or something in October, right?
Yep. We have a haunted hayride, usually for 3 weeks in October. Yep. We tour through the grounds on wagons and tractors and have some skits and throughout the grounds. But yeah, that's the haunted hayride, the Kansas Summer Nationals, and our threshing bee there in September are 3 main events. And then we have a Northwest and NK pull as part of our threshing bee as well there in September.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought there was a pull affiliated with the threshing bee. Now, the threshing bee is always fun because I like my tractors in 2 horsepower varieties out there. I like, 4,500 horsepower light super stocks, just the top tier. Nothing really tractor but the sheet metal. And then I love, your classic and your steam engine and your vintage tractor. So anytime you have a group that appreciates both, and do both events or all 3 events kind of support each other? Does the Outlaw event help support the threshing bee, and the threshing bee help support the pull? I think because agriculture, both in its competitive sense and its roots, I think need to work together both in their past, their heritage, and their future. And I love that you guys are being advocates for both of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the basis of the Kansas Summer National starting was to help support the threshing bee. We are a 501c3, and our mission is to keep agriculture alive. So the funds a lot of the funds that we create through the Kansas Summer Nationals go to support the threshing bee. We have a lot of school groups come out and do tours to see all that antique equipment run. So a lot, like I said, a lot of the funds go to help support that event.
Yeah, you used to have an antique pull there. I have some history there. When I was president, I started the Flint Hills Truck Pullers back in the early 2000s, and we bought our own sled, the old Kelly Starbucks sled, and I used to run that thing all over the place. I remember running it up there till, I don't know, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And the toughest thing on that old sled, I mean, we pulled light modified tractors, we pulled modified 4-wheel drives, we pulled everything with that. But the hardest thing on that old sled was those heavy antique tractors, that slow pull. I mean, it would snap stuff that it just blew me away. And I was on my back under that sled that last time I was there fixing stuff 3 or 4 times. I mean, and I can't the pan on that sled, Mike, was so hot. I had to throw a blanket on that pan to lay in under there just from the friction going up down that track all night. It was like a skillet. I mean, literally. But I've been to McLouth a few times. I actually found some pictures the other day. Just happened upon them when I was there in like 95.
Okay.
I think it might have been an outlaw event at that time.
Yeah.
The pictures weren't that good. My old camera was messed up. They're so far away. But I remember a guy, this was before cages and before seat belts on tractors, and an old guy got thrown off.
Ooh.
The sled hit him at the end, and he was an older guy. I think in his 80s. He just shot out over the hood, took him off in an ambulance, and he ended up winning that night. Nobody beat him. He ended up winning, but he was in the hospital. But a lot of pulling through the years over there at McLouth.
Yeah. Luckily, we got smart, and now we have 2 sleds for the antique pull, so it makes it go a little faster.
Yeah, that was some long nights running that old sled. I have a lot of respect for sled operators, especially antique pulls, because those things can go long.
Yep.
What's the one up there north of Lawrence?
Vinland?
Not the one at the lake. No, it's out there on some land. I can't remember the guy's name.
Oh, at O'Trimble's?
Yeah, Jim O'Trimble.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think I ran the sled for 13 hours straight there one time.
I can believe it. They would pull anything if you'd hook it to the sled.
So I couldn't hardly walk a couple days later because my clutch leg was so sore working the clutch on that thing. I'm not kidding you. It was 12 or 13 hours. It was.
No, 12 hours is no shocking surprise. That's one thing I do to stay sharp in the off season is I go announce a couple of antique pulls. And I tell you what, you go through the cough drops at those things because we feel like we're wheeling and dealing at ours, but 3 hours, we'll announce 120 hooks, but you'll be up there on a stage for 9 to 12 hours. And you really find your vocal strength to carry into your outlaw season after doing a couple of those in the off season.
Yeah.
So Dustin Andrews Brock said you got your first volunteer already if you go 2 days. So
there we go. Yeah, big congrats to that. Big congrats to Andrew on the regional points win. He's one of our biggest cheerleaders and promoters. He does a great job promoting our pull. We love having him here every year.
So who's your big sponsors out there that make things happen?
Morton Buildings has come on board as our title sponsor again. They've been awesome to work with, and just super excited to have them on board as a title sponsor. The Bank of McLouth here in town has been a long time sponsor, and they continue to be, along with PDC Diesel. That would be our 3 biggest sponsors. So we sure appreciate their support. We definitely couldn't do it without all of our sponsors. Our VIP tent is just for sponsors, and I believe we're over 500 tickets for VIP just for sponsors. So a lot of sponsor support, which we appreciate it.
PDC Diesel, where's that out of?
Bonner Springs.
Out of Bonner, okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. Love to hear about some new sponsors getting involved. I know last year you fed us. Is that still the plan this year? You're feeding the pullers? And
absolutely. They actually put up the big tent today. So the tent is there. Tables and chairs come tomorrow. And we actually smoked all the pork butts last Saturday. So we are ready. Yep.
I kind of love it. Mike, I know we get fed a lot. Of course, Mike, I mean, you can have pork butt and pork loin and steak sandwiches, Dustin, but Mike, he's a hot dog kind of guy. You have a steak sandwich, he's out there with an Oscar Mayer hot dog.
We
Pre-pull and post-pull is different, but up in the booth, Ron likes to treat the announcers booth like we're at an all-inclusive at the Chiefs game. Whereas I'm trying not to get my nachos all over my notes, but no, Kansas honestly is notorious for taking care of their pullers and their announcers, and it was by the luck of the draw that I found myself in. Was it Mound City? Is that the one that gives us the ice cream? And then you guys the day before I'm here and have this big meal. So Kansas knows how to take care of you guys.
Yeah. It's thanks for our goal to take care of the pullers and make sure they're happy while you're there, because without them, we wouldn't have much of a show. So,
yeah.
Well, Dustin, give us a rundown here of what people can expect. Is there a beer garden? Can they bring beer in? Tell us all the rules here, admission and all that stuff.
We will have beer for sale, and I think 3 different locations throughout the grounds. You can also bring a cooler in for $20. We just ask that there's no glass in the cooler, but bring in beer by all means. Gates open at 3. Pool starts at 7. You can find all of our information on our website, McLouthThreshingBee.com, or on Facebook at McLouth Threshing Bee. We highly encourage you to show up early, go through the pits. The pits don't cost anything. You buy a ticket, you can go over to the pits and visit with the pullers and look at their machines. We highly encourage fans to do that. So we look forward to seeing everybody. Weather right now looks extremely good. We got pretty dang lucky last year. Looks like we're going to get lucky again this year. Mid-80s. Humidity is supposed to go down. So, I think we're going to have a beautiful evening Saturday night.
There you go. General admission is $25. Kids 6 to 10, $10. Kids 5 and under free. Coolers $20, but no glass. But you can bring in alcohol, as you said. No glass. Yep. More information: McLouthThreshingBee.com, or like I am right now, I'm on the Facebook page. What is this with pancakes? I see pancakes on here.
I was wondering. Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah. So we teamed up with the fire department. They do a pancake feed the morning of the pool. So Saturday morning, we teamed up with them to help push folks over to the fire department just a few blocks north of the grounds there where the pool is, to go over there and have breakfast. And it's been a great success. I think this is maybe the 5th or 6th year we've done it in conjunction with them. And the turnout's been awesome for that pancake feed. So encourage everybody to go visit the fire department that Saturday morning as well.
Okay, awesome. I know the pullers love this place. And you're probably going to get a lot of pullers coming up to you this weekend and telling you the obvious that you've probably heard last year. This needs to be a 2-day pull. I hope we can make that happen in the future. I really do.
I hope so too. I really enjoyed talking with some of the pullers after the pull last year. How much the place has changed since they were here 10 or so years ago. The place has surely changed a lot.
Yeah, the stands are huge now. They are massive from what I remember back in the day. But we filled them up last year, so hopefully we'll do that again this year.
Absolutely.
And honestly, I think we will. People that came last year, I think you're going to get most of those people back. And, they tell friends and family that didn't come. And, I already know lots of friends and family that are coming that didn't come last year. Some of them came last year. Now more of them are coming.
Perfect.
So we're excited. We're excited. It's going to be a busy weekend of pulling. But the Kansas Summer Nationals, McLouth, Kansas, easy to find. If you know where Tonganoxie is, super easy to find. This Saturday at 7:00. Dustin, thanks for coming on, buddy. I appreciate you.
You bet. Thank you, guys. We'll see you on Saturday.
We'll see you Saturday morning for those pancakes, man. I'll be first.
All right, there we go. Perfect. Sounds good.
Thanks, Dustin. Take care.
Have a good night. Yep.
You too. So
yeah, it's hard not. I'm just sitting here, Ron. I'm thinking to myself, I should be tired. We came home. I've had 2 days at home. I'm going to turn right around, go back out on the road again this week. This is a hard week not to get excited for, because you have this mega pull in McLouth, Kansas. But I'm also sitting here thinking, also going on way up north in Iowa on Saturday night is LeMars, Iowa, also a huge grandstand. But we're going to kick things off early. We're going to Britt, Iowa tomorrow night. We're running 2 shows on Thursday night, Sac City, Iowa, Scribner, Nebraska. Both of those great bread and butter shows. Friday night, we come down into Missouri to go to Mercer, Missouri, another pool that has grown massively in the past 2 years. 2 years ago, that was a a 3-class show. Now they've got like 5, 6, 7 classes there.
Yeah.
Saturday night, we've got 2 huge pulls, McLouth and LeMars, and we're still not done on Sunday. Why not have a Sunday fun day and go down to Mound City, Kansas, or up into Neligh, Nebraska? There's so much going on. This is a fun week of pulling.
Yeah, Britt, Iowa. Mike, you talking about tomorrow night? Fun pull up there, the Hancock County Fair. That starts at 6:30 tomorrow night. Great people up there. Always enjoyed going up there, Mike. But it just worked out that, we looked at our schedules, and the schedule we put together for you and I announced it just made more sense without us waving at each other as we passed each other on the highway.
You talked about the Gateway, the Gateway series. Yeah. I'm going to have to come up because I've got like a group in Northern Iowa this week, so I've got a Northern Iowa sweep, and then you're going to be down in, you're going to be a little all over the place till you get, your boots on the ground in Kansas, but you're going Nebraska, Missouri, Kansas, but kind of on the southern route. I'm going to be on the northern route, but big thing is, we've got 8 pulls in 5 days. I mean, that's a lot of pulling. That's a lot of changing in points. Who's going to survive? Who's going to win? We should be tired, but we're too excited to be tired. This is going to be a fun week. Yeah,
it surely is. I'm looking at Britt's lineup right now. You got 7 modified 4-wheel drives lined up for this week at Britt. Tomorrow night, the 3.0 diesel pickups, Limited Pro diesel pickups, they're pulling for added enhanced purse up there. Diesel super stocks. You don't get to see those a whole lot this year.
No.
But they're going to be there. Let's see. You got the Intimidator already signed up. Last year's champion, David Anderson. Tyler Buckman signed up to pull there. Light Super Ag. They got 6 of those signed up so far. Light Limited Pros, you already got a big class of those guys.
They always do. I mean, that group, and I kind of thought that group was a regional group. They're the Northern Iowa, Eastern Nebraska. We threw them down to Oklahoma, and every last one of them showed up. Those guys love pulling. And while we're talking stories, got to have a big shout-out to Brady Gosler and the Light Limited Pro Stocks winning at Denison, and what I learned was essentially his hometown. And then Jared Johansson also walking away victorious in the Super Farms. Brady and Jared both live less than 10 miles away from the pulling track at Denison this last week. The crowd was going nuts for that. So a lot of cool stories, a lot of fun stuff happening in pulling. A lot of pulling. I mean, I'm telling you guys, look at the point standings now, but by the time Ron and I are talking to you about it again next week, it could be completely topsy-turvy.
Yeah, and then I know we've gone over here. It looks like we got more people watching now than we did 20 minutes ago, but Super Farm, there's a story there. The Andrews family having some problems this year. I'm looking at the point standings right now. The Dakota Deers dropped down to 4th, Burley Buck down in 6th. They're plagued with some breakage and mechanical problems.
Yep. But now it'll be interesting to see when the drops come into effect on that, because Alan is pretty savvy about using those to his advantage. But I really think, I know Weisenkamp's leading, but the way he has been performing lately, I think Jared Johansson is really a puller you should be keeping an eye on right now. Actually, you've got Chad Weisenkamp with 225, Jared Johansson with 223, and then the Halingas, they were my pick to click. If you go all the way back before the season, they're sitting in 3rd at 222, so just 3 points between 1st and 3rd in the Super Farm class right now.
Who was mine? Who did I pick? Did
you take Weisenkamp?
No, I actually took I took Johansson, remember?
Did you take Johansson? Okay, so we're both sitting, and Weisenkamp's sitting here watching the show saying, you both don't know what you're talking about, because I'm sitting number 1 and you're trying to brag on 2 and 3 right now. But it's
tough. It's tough when somebody asks you to pick in a class as tough as Super Farm.
Yep.
Who your pick is. It's like eeny, meeny, miny, mo, honestly.
Oh, sure. Yep. But I was happy. For Jared and for Brady. I mean, you could feel the energy. The crowd wanted them to get the victory. And it's the only time I've ever kind of messed with a crowd a little bit, because Johansson, he was like 2nd to last or something like that, and they knew how much he needed to win. And I said, "Oh, folks, I hate to say it. Just remember, I'm just the messenger here." And you could hear the bated breath, and then I announced that he went further than the distance, and they blew the lid off that place. Everyone out there was pulling for him.
Yeah, Blaze of Glory, 2 points behind someday. Chad Weisenkamp, 2 points behind. Then one more point back is endangered species.
Yeah.
Brad Alinga. 8 more points back is Dakota Deer. Then go back to 5th, Mark Roberts with 200.5 points. So Super Farm is tough, man. It's tough. Pro Stock 4 before, Super Farm, everything is getting really close. Pro Stock North. Greg Jager pulls into the lead. And
And I'll be honest, in a class with names like Lacey Wager, and had we known what Kurt Koima and Dave Rosenboom were going to do with the 8 seconds, and Kyle Pedley, that was outside my bubble pick. So to see the historic tractor of the Wampuscat sitting number 1, that's a fun story to watch develop as well. So, if you just go down Wampuscat, Extreme Pleasure, 8 seconds, knowing what he's been up to lately. Gone with Cody Yarrick, Wide Loose Deer, Kyle Pedley, the Wheeling Dealing Deer, which we know what that tractor is capable of. Chuck Schluter, Robert Davison. There's a lot of good iron in that class. So who knows? I'm not going to try to predict because who knows what's going to happen over the next week.
Yeah, super. We could go through all of them here, but all of them are so close, at least especially in the top 3. Modified tractors. I mean, you're looking, Cotton Candy has the lead now, 1 point lead over Donald Nelson's Bullbuster. And then 4 points back is Sweet Pains. Sweet Pains back in championship form. Ern Huser, a few more points back. But wow, I mean, or Twisted Whip is only 5 points behind Sweet Pain. And all of the classes are like this right now. Everything is just super close. It's a fun time of year to watch bowling.
Yeah, like I said, it's you're too excited to worry about being tired. Is it a lot of work? Yeah. Why do we do this work? Same reason the pullers do it. Same reason you fans get on here every single Tuesday night and do it, because it's awesome, because we love it, because we believe in it. And it's just going to be a ton of fun to watch this unfold. You talk about Molly, that gets me pumped up even a little bit more. Another reason I love going back to Sac City is because it's a Thursday night show where the two-wheelers and the mods get to come out and play. I spent a lot of time hanging out with my LLP and my Super Farm friends throughout the year, my light limited mods. Sometimes it's good to go see those big mods too. So I look forward to seeing Cameron and Donald and the Ulmers and Vern and everybody this weekend too. So, it'll be fun to watch those guys come way up north and see what they're made of.
Yeah, I see Steve Cavan picked up another win, a regional hook there in Super Farm. In Pierce on Thursday. It's good to see the 540s get back out. Granted, we had 2, but there literally are 5 of those tractors running west of Mississippi right now, of the tractors that are out.
And I would even take the 2 that are running, and everyone say, oh, well, Mike, you're an outlaw announcer, you're biased. I'll take the 2 that we have going against each other right now, and I'll put those 2 up against any light pro in the country. And I'm going to say they're going to finish in the top 2 about every time. The fans love them. The show that even though there's only 2, the show that those 2 are putting on right now, the distances they're pulling, the speed they're generating, it's a fan favorite every single time. So Brad Isle and John Narragon kind of having fun with the 1 versus 1 matchup this year, because they both, it's just like, who's going to win the quick draw tonight? They're doing a great job with it.
Yeah, I think we might get the Grimes family back before the end of the season here pretty quick, hopefully in August. And, the Clarks, and hopefully I heard the Mitchells were coming out and they pulled with the Western Series down in Council Bluffs. So hopefully we can get all these guys together for a hook or 2 this year and have, a good class of those light pros. Congratulations, Andrew Meister, getting the win in Wayne, Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
He was on a little dry spell there. And, Matt Phelps in the dirt, turning things around here, getting ahead of Luke Renner. I mean, this is becoming a pretty fun little battle in naturally aspirated modified 2-wheel drive.
Yeah, and he's a man that doesn't voice, he's not a big, loud fellow like myself, but you can kind of read beneath the surface that he's ready to not be in that bridesmaid position. Him and Luke have had some good battles over the past 2 seasons, but he kind of told me last year, he said, if outside of one poor setup choice, I could have been there. And so he has been locked in. He's been focused. And quite frankly, Ron, he's been tough to beat. He's not missing very much this year on his setup. Luke's still, tough to beat. Great guy. But Matt's just not giving him many openings right now. And it's pretty enjoyable to watch. And we're seeing a lot of variety in that class, too, with Mitch Tomka. And we saw the Hunix come back out and hang out with us this weekend. So we kind of saw some fresh reinvigoration in that class this weekend. And they put on a nice little pull.
Yeah. The also you were talking about those different pullers that we've seen and the ones that are starting to make their mark in the class. I am told that we will get 2 Missouri trucks in that class this Friday. Jerry Chrysler and David James going to bring up both of those 2-wheelers to Mercer on Friday night. So that'd be cool to get those guys back in the mix of things in that 2-wheel drive class. Another guy that swept the weekend, did the hat trick, if you will, Mike, Frank Boboy.
So I thought he did. I couldn't remember, and I guess I'm too foolish to open up my app. I knew he picked up the win on Friday and Saturday, and I couldn't remember if he grabbed the win on Thursday. Now, that was a war of attrition, no doubt about it. Chris Meintz went with some big kabooms on Thursday night and couldn't get it back right on Friday. Justin Hoffman went for a wild ride on Friday and then had to drop on Saturday because he found that he had a freewheeling fin in his turbo. And then, of course, the whole internet saw me and Alan Ulmer kind of doing a breakdown about what happened with him on Saturday night. Frank Boboy, the crafty veteran, and he didn't lay off. It wasn't like he was just, I'll put it 275 and pick up the table scraps. But just the savvy veteran driver said, I know how to keep this thing together. I know how to keep it between the white lines. And where everyone else was doing what light supers tend to do, he was just smoothing out the back door all weekend long.
Yeah, that's a great weekend for him, pulling off 3 in a row. I want to make sure we get all our winners recognized here. Wayne Bunnage winning over in Waterloo on Saturday night. And then Steve Hood and Russell Phipps was driving the tractor. The Hush Money won in Montgomery City. There's just so much pulling. It's hard to keep. The Pro Stock semis, Mike, I seen on Facebook this afternoon, Richard Darr had the Instigator, the gray Peterbilt on a flatbed on a low boy, saying it's time for the old Instigator to get back out and do a little pulling. So we may have an extra semi out pulling this weekend. We haven't seen in a while.
I don't want to say that as an announcer that we're in character, but when you're announcing, you're professional. You've kind of got this, this approach about you, and you try not to let anything catch you off guard. But Richard Darr came as close to making me, quote unquote, break character as any person has ever done. And I asked him, just of all the responses I've heard, this is not one that I've heard before. I interviewed him on Friday night after he won. I said, Richard, man, we're making a habit of meeting up in winner's circle. I said, boy, you're tough to beat. I said, let me in on some of the secrets. Just what's a man got to do to win as much as you? And he just kind of looks at me with that dry look in his eye, and he goes, I'm just a damn good mechanic. He just said that loud on the, in front of God and everyone. And that one hit me in the funny bone because I was not anticipating that. I thought, they're always, I want to thank this guy or this, that. Richards goes, I'm just a damn good mechanic.
Well, he ain't lying. He ain't lying.
And that's what I told him. I said, and fans, if you need services, on your high performance semi truck, he's the one to call. The proof's in the pudding. But that one almost snuck up and got me.
Yep, Jerseyville Truck Repairs. So, congratulations to everybody that won this weekend. Thanks to all the fans coming out. Mike, I may have to have you work the controls there because my screen is locked up here. I don't know if you can see what I'm seeing, but
nope, I'm clean and good to go. So if we
if you got questions there, I can't even click on the comments or questions right now. So
let me see who we have over here. Get some fresh ones before we close the show out. Chris Kilbarger just checking in, saying hello. Robert Miner says, here's a question for you guys. Has anyone run smoke on one side of the track and noise on the other side of the track?
It happens sometimes, not necessarily intentional, but it does happen. Mm-hmm. Generally, what we try to do is when we set a 2-track pull up, folks, our goal is to have them both end at the same time. That's the goal. So sometimes it works out where you put all smoke on one side and all noise on the other, but doesn't always. But
I know that was a big challenge. That was one thing I was learning how to do with setting class lineups this week. And yeah, it's pretty easy on a single track show because you can go smoke, noise, but then you go on a side by side and you try your best. But more importantly, you don't want to find yourself in a situation where, okay, the orange sled is done and we've got 3 classes to go on the red sled. So you kind of look into that first. But that's a good question. Ben Beller says, didn't the 3-0 pickups pull first Saturday, then haul 1.5 hours to a bush pull? Well, they went to a different location. Now, as far as which association they pulled with, I don't. Ron, was it? I don't know if it Western Series.
They pulled in Atlantic, Iowa. I think it was closer to about an hour away. I think so. Yeah. We started at 5:30, and I think they started at 7. So those guys were able to get over there in plenty of time. And they ran the class last. We ran it first to accommodate the class. So. Yeah. When folks say we can't work together, we can work together sometimes. So that's exactly what we did. You get more trucks at both locations by working together, and that's what we did.
And I do feel like that's one thing that I've noticed when working with the Outlaws is we understand the needs of the puller, and we understand that they want to be in multiple locations, and to help the spirit of competition for our pullers, the best thing you can say is, hey, we're willing to listen to your needs and try to work with you. So, we did our best to help some people out. Chris Pierce says, didn't Frank have to put the brakes on not to hit the Packer tractor? I don't think that was Boa Boy. I'm trying to remember, and that did get a little Western. And it's always worth remembering to the fans, it's not the sled, it's the vehicle. As long as the vehicle stays within bounds, then everything is good to go. But when a vehicle is going hard right, brakes back hard left, that is going to twist the sled. And we saw the sled do a little sprint car maneuver up around the scraper. I really don't think it was Boa Boy, but it very well could have been. I almost wanted to say it was the just off warranty 2, but he might have been the one that pulled right before that. Okay. And Chris Kilbarger talking about Richard Darr. Sometimes best thing you can do in an interview, just tell him the truth. And I bet that's true because we as announcers always ask these very politically correct questions, and they give these very safe answers. And sometimes you just got to say, you know what? I won tonight because I did a good job. and it's true because you don't win by accident.
Yeah, I love it. I loved somebody throwing a little character, a little curveball in there in one of the interviews. Yeah. I love it. So, well, Mike, we went over by a half an hour here, but we had a lot to talk about, and we still didn't get to everything. So we could probably talk for another hour or 2 and still not get to everything. But you've got a pull tomorrow night, so you need to get your stuff together.
Yeah, and you've got what? You don't have 5 in a row, do you? No, because you got a breather tomorrow, and then I'll take a breather on Friday. But we both have 4 shows in 5 days, and you have 4 in a row, and then you still have to be the big dog behind the scenes and do all that, doing all your meetings and all your fancy stuff. So, we will.
I'll be in Scribner, Nebraska on Thursday night. I think that's the Dodge County Fair. In Scribner, if I'm not mistaken. Then Friday, I'll be in Mercer, Missouri, the Mercer Homecoming. Saturday, McLouth, Kansas, at Kansas Summer Nationals. And then Sunday in Mound City, Kansas, the Lynn County Fair. Mike, you'll be at Britt, Iowa, the Hancock County Fair tomorrow night. Little break on Friday. Then you go to LeMars. That's a big one. We didn't talk about LeMars too much tonight.
I've got Sac City on Thursday at the Sac County Fair. Then I get my breather on Friday. Then we go to LeMars, Thunder at the Round Barn. Now, Ron, you're on like a roll here, so I'm going to test you because I don't know. So what county fair is that one in LeMars?
Man.
Thunder at the Round Barn. We'll call it that because I know that's what they call that one.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
It's my biggest fear as an announcer is that I'm going to – it'd be so easy to do, say the wrong county fair or I've never been worried that I'd get the name of the town wrong, but the county fairs are always the one that trip me up to call it.
Plymouth County Fair.
Plymouth County Fair. And then Neligh. Neligh, Nebraska, Sunday.
Neligh's a new one for us. Now, Mike, you're not announcing that one, but you're going to be the guy on the ground.
I'm going to be the guy on the ground and maybe the guy in a fire suit. I don't know.
Oh, why not? Yeah. Jared Johansson answered for us. He said Plymouth County.
No.
He sent me a message a minute ago and said, wise pick on the Super Farm picks.
Just, Jared, congrats on your win. That was awesome. Cole Lundahl says, I believe the back of the sled kicked back around towards the box blade. The very rear of the sled was over top the box breaker. It was on Frank's Pass. That was what it looked like from my vantage point. Okay, so it was Bull Boy. Hoffman got wild. Just Off Warranty 2 had gotten wild. So he got a little bit squirrely, but kept it in bounds. So, yeah, I mean, the sled can go out of bounds. Sled drivers don't love it when they get slung around, but sometimes that's pulling. And when you're moving at 34 miles an hour and you want to let that thing drift and then you get hard on the brake, sometimes it whips a little bit, and that's what happened. So that's part of the game, part of the sport.
Pro Stock class in Montgomery City on Friday night. Steve Bailey, Pro Stock, gave Brandon Bungard a pretty wild ride. He was heading for the right boundary, and he was flying. Got on the brakes just a little bit and brought the front end down to steer it back in. And, of course, took that left turn and slung the back of that sled over there. He got really close to the concrete barrier. Took him for a wild ride on Friday night. So, yeah. David Hunt. Hey, I like his question. That sounds like an offer to put me in a Supermod 2-wheel drive to me, Mike. What David Hunt is.
Is it up at the top? I'm at Chris Kilbarger. I got to scroll back up. Oh, here we go. Hit the little new comments button. When are we going to see Ron in a fire suit? Ron, super modified 2-wheel drive seems like a good fit for you in my mind. You've driven the mod 4-wheelers. You've driven the Super Farms. You've driven the mods. I think a 2-wheeler could be a pretty good fit for you.
Yeah, no, I've driven it's a pro street, or not a pro street, even a super street 4-wheel drive. I've driven a couple of turbine light limited mods, and I've driven a light limited pro stock. That's my resume as far as pulling vehicles that I pulled in. So
I think a super modified 2-wheel drive truck. I would enjoy running solo in the announcer's booth to watch you go down there and getting something with 3,000, 3,200 horsepower,
That would be a ride. That'd be fun.
I think that'd be fun.
That'd be fun.
I would enjoy that.
All right, fans, thank you so much for tuning in. Mike, thanks for running the switches there. Oh, David said, let's work on that. I'm all in. I'm all in, David.
I love it. I love it. So
all in. So, Mike, you'll have to take us out of here. Thanks for watching, tuning in to Outlawed Live. We'll see you out at the polls this weekend. We got a big weekend of pulling. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on Tuesday.